Hey everybody, and welcome to this latest video from me, Carl, at Celebrity Signings. Thought I'd do something a little bit different, sort of midway through the month, and do a video looking at all of my multi-signed autographs. For the purpose of this video, multi-signed, I'm talking about anything that's been signed by more than one person. So two people's autographs, as far as I'm concerned for this, is multi-signed. Anything more is a bonus. Okay, so we'll be going back quite a way back into my sort of autograph collecting history, and the first autographs that I had that was multi-signed was this one that you can see right here in front of you from the band Steps. I'm guessing anyone outside the UK may not have heard of them. Possibly. Steps were a late sort of 90s British pop group. And they were still together at the time when I sent this off. I actually got this way back in sort of early 2000s, but I actually posted it on my blog in 2014. But it's signed by all the band: Claire, Lisa, Lee, Faye and H. And it was a TTM request because they were still together and doing TTMs. I think now you've got to sort of buy albums from their website and get them signed, but they used to do TTM back in the day. So that's my first one, multi-signed by Steps. Next up is this. It's actually just sort of an autograph collection, really. I went to an event and met a load of Doctor Who stars. It shows you the age of this because sadly a couple of these are no longer with us. I met, and perhaps if I click on this, here you go, from sort of top left down and then across, Michael Sheard, who probably best known for his roles in Star Wars, Peter Davison, Anka Wills, moving over to the right-hand page at the top, Katy Manning, the sadly missed top right-hand corner, Nicholas Courtney, who played Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, no longer with us sadly, Nicola Bryant, Wendy Padbury, Louise Jameson, and Sophie Aldred. So yeah, nice multi-sign piece with a couple of no longer with us stars there. So that was my next multi-sign that I uploaded, and then jumping up really to a lot more present day, because this is from my sort of more recent collecting time, and this is signed by Ray Galton and Alan Simpson, who are two TV writers. They wrote most of the script for Steptoe and Son, Hancock, and hundreds and hundreds of other episodes of stuff. One of them's passed away recently in the last year or two. I can't remember if it's Ray or Alan, I'm not sure. But I wrote to their agent and they both signed this for me, which is really cool. So that's a signed picture from Ray Galton and Alan Simpson. Next up is Penn and Teller, the American TV magicians. And you can see there Penn Jillette and Teller, whatever his surname is, I haven't got a clue. And I actually requested this via their website. I don't know if you can still do that anymore, but there's a link on my blog to their website if you want to. You can just type some details in and they send you a signed picture, which is pretty cool. Moving on is this multi-signed poster and Christmas card from the awesome directors Jen and Sylvia Sauce. They do lots of sort of American horror stuff. Dead Hooker in a Trunk was the first film, American Mary. They've just done the remake of David Cronenberg's Rabid, which is due out soon and looks amazing. And they sent me this signed picture, which is really, really cool. And then they also sent me this Christmas card as well, which is really, really nice. And it's not the last signed items I've got from them either, but a really cool multi-signed piece from these two amazing directors. Moving on, it's it's here in John Hurt, but actually it's just this picture here, and it's signed by John Hurt, who played the War Doctor, and David Tennant, who obviously played the Doctor as well in the most recent but the most recent version of Doctor Who. I'd love to get this signed by Matt Smith someday, but it's probably not going to happen. I think I got this signed by John Hurt first and then sent it to David Tennant. I can't remember which way around it was, I'm not sure now. But yeah, not very likely I'll get it signed by Matt Smith, but still a really cool multi-signed anyway. And we just talked about Jen and Sylvia Sauce a few moments ago. Here's the other thing I got from them, this awesome signed picture here. This is actually signed by Jen and Sylvia Sauce and the artist of a graphic novel that they've created, but I can't remember the name of the chap who signed, the third person who signed it. But it's a limited edition, 65 of 100, which is really cool. Next up in my multi-signed is Naomi Grossman and Erika Ervin, probably best known from American Horror Story. Freak Show is probably is the episode they both appeared in. Erika Ervin is the tall lady at the back, and Natasha, I forgot her name. Naomi, sorry, played Pepper, who's the character over to the far right. So, the far right. The character stood in front of Erika, so the two ladies stood in front of each other on the left-hand side. Yeah, and I met them at Comic-Con back in 2015. They both signed it, which is really cool. Next up is from the band Goldie, Lookin, who are a Welsh rap group. I bought an album for like a tenner, their Christmas album I think it was, and got it signed back from all of them, Mystic, Reese, Eggsy, Maggot, Mike Balls, all of those. So that's a multi-signed CD purchase from Goldie, Lookin. Next up is another CD purchase. It's Riki, Lindhome and Katy Micucci, probably also known as Garfunkel and Oates. They've been in loads and loads of films and TV shows. And this CD, their Slippery When Moist CD, was for sale on their website, so I bought this and got the signed copy of that, which is really cool. Next up was actually something I won, which was a Stereophonics signed CD. I won this in a competition. You can see here, congratulations, hidden CD enclosed. It's signed by Kelly and the rest of the band there. So yeah, very, very happy with that. I'm just going to pause this video for a second. On here where I left off, this is Patrick Stewart. It's actually not just signed by Patrick Stewart, it's actually an autograph that I got back from Patrick Stewart via the venue, and I actually caught Ian McKellen in the show that they did. So Ian McKellen signed in silver on the side, Patrick Stewart across the middle, and Owen Teale, who was in the show as well, has actually signed the top, although he wasn't in the picture. I thought, why not? So it's signed by Owen Teale, Ian McKellen, and Patrick Stewart, which is really, really cool. Actually, I love this. So I'm very happy. Took a bit of a risk sending that one off because I already had it signed by Ian McKellen and Owen Teale, but I did. Patrick Stewart sent it back, which is great. Next autograph I got back was from the cast of the theatre show The Philanthropist. I sent off this one picture and just cheekily asked, could they all sign it? And they did, and it's signed by, from left to right, Charlotte Ritchie, Matt Berry, Tom Rosenthal, Simon Bird, and Lily Cole. And you can see that there. And Lily has dedicated it to Carl Lily Cole as well, which is really cool. So yeah, really, really nice multi-sign piece there from all of those. Obviously, I know Charlotte from Fresh Meat, Matt Berry from Toast of London, and other stuff like that, Year of the Rabbit, Tom Rosenthal from Plebs and Friday Night Dinner, Simon Bird's from The In-Betweeners and Friday Night Dinner, and Lily Cole's been in loads of films and stuff. She was in Doctor Who. So yeah, really nice multi-sign piece there. Moving on was a book I bought, signed by Zack Snyder. It's the person I wanted it for, really. It's 300 Rise of the Empire Art of the Film book. Zack's the director of 300, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, those kind of films. I bought this book. It cost like £9 or something. It's humongous. The book is really cool. And there we go and see it signed by Noam Murrow and Zack Snyder as well. Limited edition, 171 of 750 copies, which is really cool. Moving on is another sort of multi-sign piece here, and it's from an event I went to celebrate the Sarah Jane Adventures, and it's signed by Sinead Michael, Richard Whisker, Cheryl Rowlands, Phil Ford, Joe Lidster, Sam Watts, Scott Hancock, Gary Russell and Brian Miller. And you can see all the autographs here, and they've all had varying roles and involvements in the Sarah Jane Adventures. I did get some other stuff signed by Sarah Jane Adventures actors and actresses, but I got those on single pieces, but I got this book signed from all of these folks, which was really cool. Next one is my ever-growing multi-signed Monty Python piece. This is signed by Michael Palin, John Cleese and Terry Jones. I sent it to Michael Palin TTM, and he signed that, which is great. I met Terry Jones many years ago and got him to sign that for me, and then I had it signed by John Cleese at London Film and Comic Con a couple of years ago. So that's growing. I'd love to get it signed by Terry Gilliam, but I'm too scared at this point to send it because it's signed by 3, and if I lose it, that'd be gutting. Obviously, Graham Chapman sadly no longer with us. Eric Idle, not very likely, so probably that's retired now, I would have thought. Next up is this signed by Carol Ann Ford and William Russell. Got this via 10th Planet private signing a couple of years ago, 2017. Already had a few things signed by Carol Ann Ford, but never had an autograph from William Russell, so paid for this, wasn't particularly expensive, and got this multi-signed, as you can see there. I probably would have preferred if they'd signed the other way around, as their characters are actually the other way around in the picture, but meh, never mind, can't complain. Really cool to have that from William Russell and Carol Ann Ford. Next up is I just sent an email to this morning. Most people watching this has probably got one of these already. It's a signed card back from Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield from this morning. Not going to linger on that because to be honest, I don't even watch it, but I just emailed because it was a free autograph and I thought, why not? So we'll move on. Next one is Caroline Blackiston and Dermot Crowley, and they both play characters in Star Wars. Caroline plays Mon Mothma. Dermot Crowley plays General something, I can't remember his name, but I'm sure somebody will be able to tell me below. I sent this to Caroline Blackiston, asked her to sign it, which she did. I asked for the character's name on. She didn't put it on, sadly, but then I sent it to Dermot Crowley, and Dermot signed it for me as well. So that's a nice multi-signed Star Wars piece. Moving on, these are actually some purchases I got. I won these actually in an auction. And they are signed by Terry Scott and June Whitfield, who are sadly both neither with us anymore. They're probably best known for, I mean, Terry and June, obviously, but Carry On films, June Whitfield from Ab Fab. I actually got 3 of these. Two are multi-signed, I think, this one, and this one's just signed by Terry Scott. But yeah, really pleased, especially with that one. Absolutely love that. It's a really nice addition to the collection there. Next up is from a meet and greet, not meet and greet, but I met the two of them. It's Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero, probably best known for the film The Room, which is hilarious if you haven't seen it. I met Tommy and Greg at an event and got this poster signed from both of them. So again, really cool. Again, they've signed above the opposite character's name, which drives me potty. I don't know why people do that. But there we go, never mind. That was cool. That's a nice autograph return from Tommy Wiseau and Greg Sestero. Moving on, this is a multi-sign from Gavin Stacey stars Matthew Horn and Joanna Page. Got this signed by Joanna Page TTM originally, and then I met Matthew at a show he was doing, so got him to sign this as well. Possibly get it signed by Alison Steadman and Larry Lamb at some point. We'll see. If I ever get the chance, I might, but I'm doubtful I'm going to send this off again, so that's probably semi-retired. Next up is this book page that I had signed by Arwyl Wynne-Jones and Edward Russell. Arwyl is the Doctor Who production designer on the new series and designed the new Jodie Whittaker TARDIS. Edward Russell is the Doctor Who brand manager. Met them at an event and got them to sign my book for me, which is really cool. Next up is League of Gentlemen. I got this multi-signed piece. I wrote to Rishi Smith. It took about 2 years. He returned my pictures back unsigned and sent me this multi-signed piece instead. So signed by Jeremy Dyson, Mark Gatiss, Rishi Smith and Steve Pemberton. So way happy with this than the pictures I actually sent to be signed. A piece signed by all of the League of Gentlemen. Next up are these 2 pieces sent via venue to Cannon and Ball, and they signed both pictures are sent. This one, Rock On, Tommy Cannon, and this one, Bobby Ball. The quality of this is, for some reason, gone really weird, but the picture itself is nice. And this is signed by Tommy Cannon and Bobby Ball as well, so a nice couple of multi-signs from the 2 of them. Next up are 2 pictures, or actually, yeah, 2 pictures from Dick Clement and Ian LaFrenne, who are the writers for particularly the show Porridge, which is amazing. I sent them this picture, which they signed Best Wishes to Carl, Dick Clement, and then Ian LaFrenne's signed that underneath. And they also signed the back of a picture as well. As you can see, there's loads of ink splodges and marks on it where the ink obviously hadn't dried on what they'd signed. But they both signed for me and sent those back, which was awesome. Next up, and we're pretty recent now, is a picture from Anita Dobson and her husband, Queen guitarist Brian May. I sent this to Anita Dobson, truth be told, because I wanted a picture signed by Brian May, and I put some wording into my letter that kind of meant I probably would favourably get a return for this, and it worked, which was brilliant. So I sent to Anita, but I actually really wanted Brian, and got what I wanted, so that was really cool. But it's nice to have this multi-signed by the pair of them. That's pretty awesome. This is a multi-signed piece I got at a recent event. You'll have seen this if you've been watching my episodes recently. This is signed by all of the 3 of the main stars from Mrs. Brown's Boys. I don't even know their names. Brendan O'Carroll, Jennifer Gibney and Danny O'Carroll. I don't like Mrs. Brown's Boys. I don't find it funny at all. I really don't like the show. But I knew they were going to be there, so I printed off this picture and got them to sign it just because why not? So there we go. Next up is this multi-signed Wales picture that I got signed by Wales rugby legends Scott Quinnell, Gareth Edwards, Jonathan Davis and Tom Shanklin. This was at the same rugby event I got the Mrs. Brown's Boys stuff from, and I really like this. The picture is lovely. The signatures look fantastic on it, so I'm really pleased with this as an addition to my sort of Welsh rugby collection. And almost there at the end now. The next one, again, very recent. I wrote off to the great-grandniece and great-grandnephew of the Wright brothers, who invented the aeroplane, or created the first flying airplane, and got this signed and sent back by Amanda Wright Lane and Stephen Wright, which is incredible. And last but not least, yes, is this signed piece from Ruggero Deodato and Francesca Chiardi, who are both stars of the horror film Cannibal Holocaust. They signed this for me and got this at London Film and Comic Con, the only autographs that I got from London Film and Comic Con in 2019. And that's it. That's all of my multi-signs. I tried to keep this video as short as possible. Hope you enjoyed that whiz-bang fly tour through. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of YouTubery stuff. I love hearing from you every month, so please feel free to comment below. Hope you've enjoyed the video. The next video coming out will be the end of this month, which will be a wrap-up of July No, August. Yeah, August. That's where August 2019 returns. So hope to see you then. Thanks very much, and speak again soon. Bye bye.